Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, summer is coming. And you know what that means. Everyone's going to be out on break. There's going to be a lot of hot days. There's also going to be a lot of hot girls. But that also means that a lot of people are also going to be going on vacation. And some of you might be at a point right now and you might be asking yourself, where do I want to go to vacation to? Maybe I might want to go to a cool island that I might have never gone to, and there might be a unique experience at that island that might incentivize me to actually go to the island. Well, thankfully, there might be two islands that you might have never heard of, and you might want to go to over the summer because they have recently legalized weed in these two islands. All right, so this article is coming from Mary Jane, and it says, 2 tiny Caribbean islands legalize cannabis for private and adult use. And this article is coming from the 14th of May. So like I said, you may have never heard of these 2 small islands before. These 2 islands, they're, of course, like I said, they're very small. They're in the Caribbean. And, while you may have never heard of them, this legalization that they did might incentivize you to, check out these islands over the summer. So a local judge has ruled that Rastafarians and St. Kitts and Nevis have a religious right to smoke weed in the privacy of their homes, a ruling that will apply to all adults regardless of religion. Adults living in the Caribbean islands of St. Kitts and Nevis will soon be able to legally smoke weed in the privacy of their own homes, thanks to a recent ruling by a local judge. The ruling was handed down in the case of Ras st.kitts, a Rastafarian who was arrested in 2012 and charged with possession of cannabis with intent to sell. Maccabi was fined $5,000 and sentenced to 1 month in jail, but appealed his conviction on the grounds that the country's Drugs Act violated his constitutional right to freedom of conscience, including freedom of thought and of religion, Marijuana Moment reports. Now that is a really, really smart man, okay? So he must know a thing or two about his own country's laws. Okay, so props to him, okay? He knows what he's doing. St. Kitts and Nevis, 2 of the first West Indies islands to be settled on by Europeans, are both ruled under one government, making it the smallest sovereign state in the Western Hemisphere. Rastafarians only account for about 1% of the religious makeup of the island federation. But in this case, that 1% was enough to convince the country to put an end to over 80 years of cannabis prohibition. So that is very, very interesting, okay? So this is like an example of, I'm sure, we don't have numbers on, how popular marijuana is in these 2 islands. But, it does show that if you know how to, really explain, where you're coming from, and if you can argue, your position, based on how the laws are, then you can get, the current, standings of how the laws are to change. Think about that. This one guy was able to, basically change how, his own island's laws are in regards to marijuana, just on the grounds of religious grounds. That's very interesting. Again, I gotta give real props to him. Okay, I doubt he's seen this video, but if he ever does, then hey, respect, man. Last Friday, Eddie Ventos, a high court judge on the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, ruled in favor of Maccabi, writing that the use of cannabis is integral to his religious experience. The defendants in the case, the local government's attorney general and police commissioner, argued that cannabis prohibition was necessary to safeguard the health and well-being of all citizens of St. Christopher, a former name for St. Kitts and Nevis, including Rastafarians. All right, now who believes that? Who believes that for real? Okay, keep it real. Okay, like whoever said that, whatever judge made that point. You don't even believe that. All right, who you kidding? Okay, stop playing. Judge Ventos ruled that the defendants did not provide adequate supporting evidence that cannabis posed an actual threat to public health or safety. Yeah, of course, it didn't have adequate evidence because they ain't got none. It was obvious that their whole position is very flimsy from the start, okay? That might have been another reason how, the case was able to go in favor of marijuana, for them. Because, hey, the people that are arguing that, hey, we need to keep, marijuana illegal because, it's because, it's dangerous. We have to keep it illegal, in order to keep people safe. I mean, there's no evidence to support what you're saying, okay? So their whole grounds was pretty flimsy from the start. So that might have been another reason, like, why the courts ended up siding with the defendant. This decision will allow Rastafarians and all adults living in the island nation to possess, use, and cultivate cannabis in private. In his ruling, Ventos made it clear that his decision does not legalize marijuana sales, nor does it legalize illegal drugs or other illegal activities. The ruling gives St. Kitts and Nevis Attorney General Vincent Bryan 90 days to remedy the constitutional deficits of the island's Drugs Act. Legislators in the Twin Island Federation may well resolve these defects before the Attorney General has to amend the drug law. Last week, the country's parliament heard the first reading of a new piece of legislation, amply titled the Cannabis Bill 2019. This proposal would legalize medical marijuana, decriminalize possession of up to 15 grams of flower, as well as the cultivation of 5 or fewer plants, and overturn criminal convictions for anyone who had previously been busted for minor pot crimes. So that is a very interesting piece of legislation, and from what we are given details of within this article, this bill does seem to be very, very, very nice. So hopefully this piece of legislation actually does pass and it does become law of that land. I mean, let's keep it real. Like, no government should be throwing their citizens in cages for having a plant, let alone a plant that that probably helps them a lot. So any bill or proposed law that would hopefully remediate a lot of the prohibition around marijuana, it's a benefit, because it's going to help a lot of people, both medically and people that that are being very much discriminated against, because of these laws that are currently around that criminalize marijuana. Now, personally, I've never been to St. Kitts and Nevis before, but personally, that might change. And also, I might have to change my religion as well. So if you need to go to a place to vacation over the summer and you need to find a new place, check out St. Kitts and Nevis. They definitely got some good stuff going on over there. Like, boy, am I ready for the summer to start now. Alright, but in all seriousness, that's going to go ahead and wrap up this video. And of course, if you want to check out the article that I just read, you can go ahead and check it out in the description down below. And that's going to wrap it up for this video. If you want to subscribe to this channel so that we catch up with all my new videos whenever they drop, you can go ahead and click a button right here in order to do that. Or if you want to watch my most recent video, you can go ahead and click this button right here also in order to do that. That's going to do it for today. I hope all of you have a good rest of the day. And until the next one, take care, everyone. Peace.
It's the motherfucking Eagle Double G.
Snoop Dogg.